Our life experiences shape how we view our world.
I'll bring the cups over here.
Some call it perspective.
You know, it's interesting, but everybody's starting to do crimps differently.
Sammy McKay calls it
Look at that. That's a different crimp than on the other one.
rediscovery.
Fascinating. I live in a parallel world. Half my brain sees and half my brain lives in a blind world.
15 years ago,
You know, I do this a whole lot better if I just close my eyes.
Sammy didn't know the magnitude of what she would lose.
I see a time and a place when I could see well, and I took it for granted.
When she went to the doctor for blurry vision and left with news of a cloudy future.
And the specialist told me I had macular degeneration. There was nothing that could be done, and I was supposed to go home, eat broccoli, and go blind.
Go blind. Only when she sat next to her dying father years later
Well, it was very hard.
did Sammy understand its implication.
Tough was getting down on my hands and knees at a cemetery to feel the headstone, to make sure that the names were all engraved and everything was as it should be. Tough. Oh, yes. That's a great thing to take in. Wow.
And yet, even though she literally could not see the path in front of her,
Today, she still thinks it's her duty to guide me.
Sammy knew where she needed to go.
I was not going to sit around and become a couch potato.
The air was different, smells stronger, sounds amplified.
If we're real quiet, you'll hear the wings. You can.
A reality Sammy willingly embraced for nearly a decade until a pain in her right eye led her once more to the doctor.
And I didn't have to be blind.
And the realization
That's the sad part of the story.
things could change.
The procedure was nothing that was a possibility at the time I saw the doctor.
It was a cataract surgery doctors said probably wouldn't work.
It's the overwhelming emotion that had welled up over years within me
But the procedure they said wouldn't work did.
that I had realized at that very moment when I could finally see again that yes, there is hope.
Which brings us to a morning in Buena Vista,
If you look out there, you'll see yourself reflected.
when the familiar
I see a young woman who took it for granted,
was taken for granted no more.
and the gift given back now.
Look at the peak of Princeton.
Yes,
It's just starting.
Just starting.
Oh, wow. It's a clear day, too.
It's a beautiful day.
Now
Oh, look at
Columbia's
it! Look what
starting.
it's doing to Columbia.
Isn't that the most beautiful thing?
Oh, wow. The contrast, the greens.
It's like a strawberry.
My gracious.
And you get to see it with new eyes.
Where we see beauty, Sammy McKay sees something entirely different.
And I'm very grateful.
A second chance.
If you can wake up with the mountains,
With photojournalist Chris Hansen,
that's a gift.
Dan Grossman, 9 News.
Oh, wow.